everyone. Today I'm joined with Tom. So would you like to introduce yourself to the camera?
Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Ovenden. I'm a racing driver from Canterbury in Kent. Racing in various number of championships, most recently in a mini challenge, but I'm sure we're going to talk about
Definitely.
today. Yeah.
Perfect. So did you get into motorsport through karting or did you jump straight into cars?
Little bit unorthodox for myself. Started when I was 6, but first of all on motocross bikes.
Oh, right. Okay.
So 2 wheels always before 4, and it's something I'm still really passionate about. There's a Supercross series that runs in the US from January to kind of April, and that keeps me going during the off season. Just something to watch. It's still a big passion of mine. But we kind of got to a level with the motocross. I did it with my dad and my brother. Did it. We'd gone racing as a family kind of all the time, to be honest. Once I got to, I think it was about 12, it was getting a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Some of the lads who I was racing against were getting hurt. And I was okay, but I wasn't good enough to really make it anywhere in that. So then we tried karting. I think I was 11 the first time I got in a kart. Really enjoyed it, and then kind of made the switch to that. But didn't do a lot of go karting. Only did rental corporate stuff at Buckmore Park and Bayford Meadows tracks near me. And then didn't get in a car until I was 14. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So since you didn't do a lot of karting, do you think there was anything that you maybe missed or didn't learn because of that?
I think potentially. I didn't have the years that some people had in a go-kart, but the years I had were, I think, productive. Let's say that. And then I think my first car racing series was Rallycross, and I think I learned a lot of the skills that I was missing during my time in that.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me going forward. So yes, but I think I made up for it further down the line.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. So you said you started at 6. So how did starting at such a young age impact you? And did you feel like you missed out on any social events through school or just the social events that you go to as a kid? And did you think racing was better, or did you sometimes?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. No, I was never jealous. I was always aware of the decisions that we were and the weekends we were, the time it was taken up, and I didn't mind. It's what I wanted to do. In motorsport, been born into a motorsport family, so just loved it since I was really young. And first got on a motocross bike when I was 4, and then as soon as I was old enough, I just wanted to race it. So I did that. And then obviously moved over to 4 wheels. But no, it was never. I never felt like I was missing out because I was doing something I loved and with my family. So I never missed out. Maybe looking back, I did, but I never felt like I was at the time. Yeah.
I suppose your school friends were probably jealous of you.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
all that school.
Lots of us in motorsport are very, very fortunate to be able to do it.
Yeah.
For sure. So there was a bit of that. Leaving school early on a Friday wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I was always, aware of the fortunate position I was in, and I think you're right. I think that actually makes you just appreciate it rather than think about what you could be doing.
Yeah.
Think about what you are doing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So what was your inspiration to get into racing, and do you remember the core moment where you realized this is the pathway that I want to take?
I don't have an exact moment. I just remember. So my dad started motocross and then moved over to rallycross, kind of in his early 30s. So I was very young then, and I just kind of followed him around then and just picked it up really. My uncles went into it as well. I don't remember a defining moment, but during my time on 2 wheels, so the motocross side, I'd always, because my dad was in rallycross at the time, I'd still be very much involved in the 4-wheel side of motorsport, which I think eventually made the switch just kind of naturally happen because I was always into it. It wasn't like I had no idea, went from bike straight to the cars. I was always interested in the 4-wheel side of motorsports. Anyway, but no, I can't pinpoint a moment. I think it was just I knew from very young I wanted to be racing something.
And it's always been your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you do the mini challenge.
Yes.
What do you love about it, but also what do you hate about it? Like, is there any things that you would change or,
I've got one thing I hate.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very competitive and very stressful. It's
Honestly,
the only thing I can say I hate about it. But it's obviously a very good thing because it makes you have to be the best version of yourself. But it's really hard sometimes.
Yeah. I watched. I was at Alton Park last season, and
Oh, cool.
it was carnage. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, Alton wasn't a good
insane.
one either. I can't remember. Was that? It rained, I think.
It was. Yeah. It was really. It was raining. Honestly, people were going like off, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So it's stressful for us drivers. Really fun, but stressful. But everything else about the championship has given me such a platform. And it was a championship. So after the years in Rallycross, it was kind of I knew my style and the style of my driving and my opportunity as a racing driver was going to be slightly larger if I moved into the circuit racing world. But it was a scary leap at first because me and my family all would run our own cars and done it ourselves and got to the meetings ourselves. So at 16 to go into Coopers in 2021 was a bit of a leap, really. It was like, oh, okay, right, we're handing the power over to a race team who I've never run with before, Accelerate, who I've actually been with now for 5 years, and looking back, it wasn't, nothing to be scared about.
Yeah.
But it was at the time, and it's obviously paid off in the long run. It's been hard work, but it's a championship that, from being on the ITV stuff with the touring cars, it's a championship that attracted us just from a driver profile point of view and the competitive standpoint of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of saw that and thought, I think that's championship for us, and I've been there ever since now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you won the championship last season, so
I did.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Can you just give us an insight on how you were feeling when you realised you'd won the championship, and was there points in the season where you were like, no, I'm not going to win, or yeah, I've got this in the bag?
Yeah, I mean, so when I first joined Mini Challenge, because I'm actually winning the Cooper Championship in 2023, and that was something when we first joined the Mini Challenge, we thought, okay, if we can finish mid pack, then I'll be thrilled. Then you do that, and then the next thing comes along, right? Okay, maybe we can start looking to get a podium. You do that, and then you win your first race, and you're like, okay, and then you're never satisfied, are you? The goals just keep going once you achieve them. And when I first joined Minis, the Cooper class in 2021, JCW's was this awesome championship that I thought, oh my god, that'd be so cool to be in that one day. I looked up to Dan Zelos, who was my coach at the time in Coopers, and he won the championship in my first year of circuit racing, and I was there at the last round at Brands GP for that. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. If I could do that one day, that'd be incredible. So it was very, very overwhelming because obviously that's a championship I won last year. Never ever thought that would happen. It was a good year, very hard year. Jamie Osborne won all the first 3 races at Donington. So I kind of left there, as well as my teammates, thinking, that's not gone as we planned, because now there's this one driver with this massive lead. But then I won the race 1 at Snet, and that was kind of the biggest moment of the season for me, just to prove myself that I could, beat it and take it to him. And then we kind of points gap stayed from there pretty similar throughout the season. I had some good races. He had some good races. We kind of went back and forth. And there was a few people kind of coming up behind us too as well throughout the season, championship-wise.
Yeah.
And then it was the most odd end to a championship I think I've ever experienced. Not the nicest feeling to start with. Obviously, with Jamie announcing at Silverstone that he wasn't fit to race with his issue. To start with, it wasn't a nice feeling because it was weird because the Silverstone weekend I went from 40 points behind to having an 80-point lead coming out of the penultimate round going into Brands GP when I hadn't even been leading the championship all year, so it wasn't really on my mind.
Yeah.
So the 2 weeks in between Silverstone and Brands were quite mentally challenging. The first week I felt it's really hard to explain. I felt a bit weird because Jamie wasn't there and I'd taken the lead in that way, and it wasn't a nice situation to see what was going on with him. Then talking to family, talking to the team. They had to make sure that my head was still in it for the last round because it wasn't sewn up. So it was just to remind myself really that I did deserve to be in the position I was in. Obviously not under the circumstance anybody wanted or hoped for, but I was in the position because I put myself there all year and tried my hardest. So I had to just forget about that for the weekend and just try and bring it home, which we did. But it was a very odd feeling and an odd time within the whole championship, to be honest. But you know, I had to make the most of what was given to me, and I had to just try the best I could, and it obviously worked out in the end. But it was a very unusual end to a championship, not the nicest end, but I just had to, you know, do what was in front of me.
Yeah, just get the job done.
Yeah.
So obviously winning the championship is like a huge up and a huge positive within motorsport, but as like many motorsport people know, it can come up with downs as well, even in like the same day. So how do you deal with the ups and downs of motorsport, especially like across a weekend, and how do you stay motivated? Say you've started the weekend really good or bad and then it just changes. How do you like stay motivated throughout that?
I think the one thing I've learned over the years is to, and it sounds fairly obvious, but it's to stay really, really present. And just remember, there's no point wasting energy about worrying about the past because you cannot change it.
Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest things that I've kind of learned mentally. I used to get hung up on mistakes that I've made or mistakes that we've made or things I could have done better. I just would hang on them for too long and then it would affect the next things I do.
Yeah.
So I just try and forget about it as much as I can. But I am somebody who still gets really, really, really nervous and apprehensive before races. I know some drivers who don't get that feeling or maybe act like they don't. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But I think I know some who generally don't get that feeling and are just a bit more relaxed about the whole thing. I think Verstappen's an example of a top athlete who just doesn't seem, it doesn't mean, obviously it doesn't seem like it means the world, which makes him really level-headed and really, really good. I really can't do that. It means, and it comes out of me that it means a lot, and it makes me really nervous. But over the years, I've learned that feeling I have before I get in the car or at a race weekend is normal. So it actually gives me a sense of ease because if there's a race weekend in the future where I don't feel nervous at all, I think I know something is wrong.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because it's how I've always felt. So I've kind of learned to just accept that feeling is okay, and it's not a nice feeling. Let's put it that way. It's actually horrible. Sometimes makes you question, why am I doing this to myself? Obviously, when you win and it all goes well, it's all worth it. But the kind of hours and the build up to the racing isn't a nice feeling for me anyway. But it's I've just learned to accept that it's a normal feeling, so it makes me feel somewhat at ease now. They're the biggest things, just managing the ups and downs, but just trying to forget the past and just think about what you can do in the now and obviously what's going to happen rather than what's just happened.
Yeah, I feel like that's just good advice to take through life as well. I guess learning that through motorsport can help with everything. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So now I've spoken to like a few drivers, and some have very weird answers to this. So I'm intrigued. Do you have any superstitions or any lucky charms that you take, mentally or physically with you on a race weekend? I've had people say like lucky socks and all sorts like that.
Yeah. I'm going to be really boring here. I don't, purely because if I forgot to do this certain thing, it would stress me out.
Yeah, I'd be exactly the same.
It would really. So if it was like a left glove thing before a right glove, if I got in the car and put my right glove on before my left glove, I'd then think, oh my God, what have I done? You don't need that kind of feeling. The one thing I do is I always, I won't say what it is, but I always share the same in-joke with my mechanic.
Okay.
I've had the same mechanic for 5 years through Coopers and JCWs, and we always make the same little funny joke when I'm getting in the car. Something to do when I'm getting in the car. Every race.
Yeah.
Which lightens the mood a bit, puts a smile on my face, makes me laugh, and that's something I do. So it's not necessarily superstitious, but that's something that we do. We have this certain in-joke, and we talk about that, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But in terms of this boot before this boot, or these socks, or this, no.
Honestly, I've had some very strange answers to that question before.
So what have people had?
There was one driver that I interviewed him in person at 116, and it was like this whole story about, I can't even remember it. It was like a year ago, but it was something about a driver and an F1 car, and this driver was getting into this F1 car or something. This guy was like really old.
Yeah.
Sorry, but this driver had like dropped a t-shirt or something like that, and he picked it up and he brings this random guy's t-shirt every weekend. And I was like, you know what? If you want to bring some random guy's t-shirt, fine. Because like the driver, like it wasn't like an F1 driver. He was just like getting in the car just to be in it. And I was like, this guy wasn't even like a famous driver or anything. It was just a random guy. And I was like, that is really weird. But
yeah, that is interesting. But yeah, with stuff like that, it's like, what if you forgot it? You then exactly. Be stressed out the whole time. So no, I can't be dealing. There's enough stress going on my brain. I don't think I need another like thing that could go wrong, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I try not to worry about that too much.
No, yeah, and I've had like, you know, the lucky socks, all that. So
yeah.
Definitely the most normal answer. But I remember I used to do gymnastics, and I would never have like that because I'm such a forgetful person.
Right, okay.
And I'd be like, I'd forget it and then be like, oh, my whole competition's ruined.
Yeah, that's it. That's save it. I think, especially the drivers and any sport really. There's enough to be worrying about rather than thinking about what's.
There's enough for you guys to bring anyway. Exactly. You've got, like, your helmet, your gloves, everything on top of that. It stressed me out more just trying to remember it. But
yes, no, exactly. So no, I don't have any weird superstitions, but just a couple of things that get me in a nice mood before I drive. That's about it.
Yeah. So, as a driver yourself, what are your thoughts of where the future of racing is headed? You know, on and off track.
Yeah. For me, I'd love to be in a position in the future where I'm racing and it's not costing me anything. That's my ultimate goal. Obviously, everyone's dream is to be getting paid to drive a racing car, and I'm not ruling that out. That's still what I'm working towards. But at minimum, I want to be in a seat where it's not costing me anything because I just love it, and that's what I want to do. Obviously, I work now outside of racing, but that's kind of a nice, realistic goal that I'd love to have, just so I can keep racing. And that would ideally be in the British Touring Car Championship. It's the championship I've supported now in the mini challenge. I've been with Accelerate, who run the 4 Hyundais in British Touring Cars. And this year I'll be the reserve driver for the touring car team. So making steps just to try and get a little bit closer with the team, and just trying to give my sponsors and partners a kind of an idea of what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
As people know, motorsport isn't cheap, so it's not easy work to try and get there. But that's my ultimate goal, is to try and be in that championship, racing where it's not costing me anything. Taking my partners and sponsors along with me for the ride, and that's kind of what I'm aiming to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not ruling out a chance of make a living driving a racing car. That's what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my minimum goal on the way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely touring cars. I mean, it's my favorite championship. I'd pick it over like F1. It's just so good. Yeah. So do you think like touring cars is achievable? Do you think you could get there? Because obviously you're the reserve driver now, but do you think it's achievable to get there fully?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
No.
I do think it's doable. I say yes because if somebody have asked me would I have ever driven a JCW when I was in Cubes in 2021, I'd have said no way.
Yeah.
So I've kind of learned I've kind of seen that if you just go through the years, make sure you keep working hard, then things do happen. So I think it's definitely possible. Nothing's guaranteed. I still got to make sure I work hard work just hard off the track as I do on the track, to try and make sure that happens. But yeah, not ruling anything out, that's for sure. So I do think it's possible.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see you there soon.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of a fun question now. So if you had free reign over designing your livery, what would it look like? You know, like colours, images on there. Like, what would it be? And I want detail.
Okay, so the R family business, our family brand, our family colours, and I
Yep.
still have the colours on my helmet, even though it's not on my car because of sponsors and Accelerate
Yeah.
colours. I have that on my racing car, but you'll notice my helmet is still red and yellow.
Okay.
That has been the business colours, the family colours for, I don't know, 60 years since my granddad first set up the business. So if I could choose, it would look like a Lightning McQueen sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
With red and yellow. Not quite sure on the livery design, but they'd be the colours. Block red, main red, and then yellow like indents and a bit of white.
Yeah.
I've got a new helmet for this year actually, so it would look something like that. Helmet's not here yet, but I'll be posting that soon. But it would look something like that. My car doesn't look like that in minis because it's blue and white, and it's obviously represents the sponsors' logos better. And with the Accelerate roll, but if there was no obligations at all, it would be red and yellow.
Yeah. I like that because I remember I was at, where was it, Thruxton, and there was just a line of cars, and one was just Lightning McQueen. And I was like, honestly, it was the coolest delivery I've ever seen. I was like, if I had a race car, that would be my car.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the Rallycross cars I used to drive, all red and yellow. So the Mini would, if I could choose, would look something like that on a Mini. I think would look pretty cool. Not to be, unfortunately, but that's what I would if I had free reign. That's probably what I'd go for.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you used to drive the Radicals. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
The Radicals.
You said Radicals?
No, Rallycross. Sorry.
Oh, Rallycross.
Because I'd love to drive a Radical.
Yeah, no. I was thinking that. I was like, I swear I didn't see that on the research.
No. The Rallycross car. Sorry, the Rallycross car.
Yeah. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So that was. So I mentioned my family that I'd done it on the lead up to me doing it. My dad still does it, and my brother to this day. He drives a cross car. My brother drives a cross car, so one of the buggies.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. And my dad's now in the supercar class, and we still go to all the British Rallycross events. I spot for my dad, so I'm on the radio to him.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So that's still a big family thing. And when I used to do Rallycross, so I did the Junior Rallycross Championship from when I was 14 till I was 16. It's something I haven't raced in a while. If people don't know what Rallycross is, you need to watch it because it's awesome. Okay, it's really, really, really good.
I've never actually watched it.
You need to. You'll love it. The World Rallycross Championship, European Rallycross Championship, there's still some of the best racing out there. And it's where I learned a lot of my driving, car control, bit of strategy because there's a joker lap involved. You got to think about the races are really short and really intense. Yeah. And yeah, I did that for 2 years. So my first year was kind of a first year in a car, Suzuki Swifts I was in, Swift Sport Rallycross Championship. Learning my trade in that, and then the second year I won the Junior British Rallycross Championship in COVID. Very odd year because there was just rounds here and there where you could fit them in. Yeah. Did manage to get that across the line, but I loved every second of it, to be honest. And it was something I'd like to just do for a bit of fun in the future, just to go back to doing a little bit of it. But it was, from that point, we just realised that the opportunity from a driving point of view, driver profile and getting me out there was going to work better during the circuit racing route, and there was more opportunity. But as a sport, I could do Rallycross. I had just as much fun driving the car as I did in Rallycross and the circuit racing. It's just all the other things that come with circuit racing that I think helps. Yeah. But yeah, still trying to grow the Rallycross profile as a family because it needs to be bigger, and it's cool. So yeah, I still have a big love for that, type of motorsport. That's where it all started for me before. I stay nice and clean, where I used to get a bit dirty with going on the dirt.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch that because I've seen clips of it and I always think, oh, that is so cool, but I've just never just watched it.
Yeah, very different. But there's still some things that correlate. But I noticed that I was much more comfortable on the tracks like Liddon that had more tarmac and less dirt. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe I'm suited to the circuit more than the dirt stuff. I was always more confident on the tarmac than I was on the gravel. Yeah. So I kind of thought that would be, and it's turned out to be true. But I love the challenge of both, and the racing was always really close to within our junior category. But yeah, it's still on the up, Rallycross, so it will get bigger. But yeah, that's where it all started before moving over to the circuit race.
Yeah. So my last question, which is the question that I ask everyone.
Yeah.
So, if you could take anyone in the world on a hot lap, who would it be, what track, and what car?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a hard question. And it doesn't have to be like a track you've been to or a car you've driven. It can be like any in the world.
So obviously the Formula 1 car only has one seat, but that's fine, right? I can just sit on.
Yeah, they can just hop on the back. It's fine.
Or something. Okay, fine. Always been a big Lewis fan.
Yep.
Always been a big Lewis fan. I've got two answers for this. No, we'll go Lewis. We'll go Lewis. Yep. And I think it was the 2020 or 2021 Merc, the F1 Merc.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a lot around Spa, which the downforce of you see a downforce of the car is mental. I just love to experience a Formula car at the fastest level, because I do a lot of sim stuff, and I do some Formula like car racing on the sim, and I've always loved the feeling of aero. I'd love to experience or just do a lap feeling what actual aerodynamics does and how it feels. I think it'd be I think it'll blow my mind how fast it goes around a corner.
Yeah.
Because I've never experienced that in real life. It's always been the normal, saloon-shaped car without any aero.
Mm-hmm.
But I do a bit on the sim, so I'd love to experience what that would be like.
Yeah.
So I'll say Lewis, Mercedes 20 or 21 car, Spa.
Yeah, that's actually a good answer. I think if I was a driver, to be driven round by someone, I'd go Vettel always.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer too.
Because I'm a big Hamilton fan, like my dad is.
Yeah.
Big Mercedes fan, but there's something about Vettel. I've always been a big fan of him.
Yeah.
I'd also pick Spa. It's on my wall up there.
Yeah.
And car, no idea. I'd probably just go like similar to F1 car, just to experience like the highest point of motorsport.
Just want to experience the grip. The grip would be unbelievable, and it's the peak of motorsport engineering. And it just looks amazing. Yeah. I'd also love to have not so much. I don't follow it so much, but I've always appreciated it a lot. Is the rallying stuff.
Yeah.
To sit in next to someone in a rally stage would be pretty cool, because that's nuts. There's the speed going through forests and that. I think that'd be quite cool.
The videos actually make me hold my breath, and I'm not even in the car.
Exactly. Yeah, I could go on. To be fair, there's lots of things I'd like to be in and do. GT, one rally cross cars. Anyway, but that's
GT is another one. GT would be insane. Yeah. Like, oh my god, a Porsche GT.
Yeah.
Honestly, get me there right now.
But there's quite a lot on my mind, but we'll go with one of them.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, and thank you for giving me some very good answers.
No problem. I hope it was all right.
Yeah.